let me set up a context for you. On February 27th, Elite Dangerous 3.0 Horizons Pass Beyond Chapter 1 is released. And yes, I'll keep calling it that way as it seems that naming committee is confused, making me confused, so we'll be confused together, shall we? Anyways, me and everyone start logging in and playing the thing, and of course the first question that, let's say, many people were asking was, where's the new gold mine? That is, what's the best way to make money? On the weekend I released a video on this very own topic, and as it turned out, skimmer killing missions across the board were quite lucrative. Then, come Monday, the mission gets nerfed. Oh wait, sorry, no. Not nerfed, but removed from the generation queue. Interesting. Is this unique? Well, I wish I could say that, but Elite Dangerous, I think since inception, is no stranger to the concept of a gold rush, aka rather unbalanced, overinflated reward for relatively quick and easy tasks. Now, let me spoil the answer here a little bit, but it has to do with developer reliance on RNGs as if he was some kind of kid working in sweatshop. I kid you not. Still, as it happened, the latest gold rush, as are many other ones, was rather interesting moment to observe, and you know what? Let's start with the cause of the state, the poor little RNGs. So what Elite Dangerous is a giant factory of randomly crafted, impersonal crap that a lot of us just get bored of. But what's even sadder about the state of RNG reliance is the fact that because we have so many variables to consider in this massive inch-deep sandbox, there are bound to be cases where rewards are completely unfair and cases where, even with the best of intentions, someone had dropped the ball in development stage and now, due to unforeseen reasons, rewards have skyrocketed. And this is the case when the gold rush happens. Because players are able to get so many credits in very short amount of time, something simply must be done. And this is when the overnerf bat comes into the play. See, these gold rushes not only showcase that relying on RNGs to generate 90% of your game is pretty bad idea, but the consequences that follow exposes, not always, but more than enough, how incompetently this sort of a situation is handled. Many a time, instead of wielding a scalpel, what is being used is baseball bat with a razor wire wrapped around it being thrusted up the poor little mission maker's butt. The aftermath, as you would expect, is not pretty. Take the last gold rush with passenger missions for example. Missions themselves got nerfed hard, and in result of that, every passenger mission suffered. Sure, eventually a proper fix was put in place, but at that point developers still look like wife beaters more than anything. And once more, the same thing is happening with the poor skimmer missions now. At the time of making, you won't see any skimmer mission anywhere until the fix is implemented. In a patch. In the next few weeks. I know, Elite is not known for patching or even hotfixing on weekly basis, but this is both a curse and a blessing. But what of the people, the greedy little buggers who run around sounding the alarm bells and panicking every time they see one of those nerf bats come into play? Okay, so let me step aside and make an official statement of my own. If you curse developers for nerfing away in this game to make comparably insane amounts of credits, then you are being completely stupid. Developers are doing their jobs to try and make the game somewhat more balanced, and so I ask you, yes you, those of you shouting and calling them names, are you an idiot? Next time you want to be a brain-dead chimp, perhaps put down the bleach bottle and think for a second. Seriously people, discuss and argue, but some specimens just simply have no clue what intellect or proper discourse means. Still, people have the right to be angry. In fact, that leads me into the next point. Why do people get angry once these money-making schemes, these gold rushes, get closed down? Isn't it obvious? Because people just simply want money, and it's a really easy way to get it, right? And you'd be completely correct. But still, you'd think that at least all those veterans of the game, you know, the people that know the game like the back of their hand, would be full of credits right about now and wouldn't have need for such gold rushes. Yeah, you'd think that. See, the outrage every time is so large because the in-game rewards and the ways to make money are so unrewarding that everyone, from the freshest placenta dripping fetus to the most rough and tough veteran, just can't ever seem to get enough. And we're not talking about a small need. The need for credits in this game is so great, it's almost like America's debt to the rest of the world. And the cause of this is simple. Economy is a flaming dumpster. Rewards are very small, yet the ships, their prices, and all the modules, not to mention later on the rebuys, are so expensive. And to get money for all of it, you have to grind. Or be like those righteous snobs and stick with the bottom 50% of the ships and say that you never need money. Oh, and don't you even try telling me it's a grind if you make it. Again, are you an idiot? The fact that most jobs that are offered to you are small tasks for very little reward is a perfect setup for a grind. So because the game favors an extensive amount of repetition of smaller tasks, no one really wants to do them as their second job, just to make ends meet for the upkeep of your fabulous ships. So when the time comes when in few hours a player is able to earn enough money to buy every ship in the game or all the upgrades for existing ones, most of us will go for the opportunity. So later we can just sit back, do nothing and goof around. And guess what? Enjoy the game that developers had worked so hard to make. I myself have gone through this. See, I classify myself as a combat pilot, so resource extraction site hunting was my favorite pastime. But after I reached the midpoint, aka the Asp Explorer / Vulture level, the grind started setting in. I still made my usual amount of money, but it wasn't enough. And then, one day, I started doing Sotis runs. And after earning enough money to buy every ship in the game, guess what was the first thing I did? I went exploring in my new Anaconda. Yes, arguably the exact opposite thing to combat. See, I decided to try something new and enjoy the game because I knew I didn't have to work anymore. And this is the same mentality most of us have about the game. And having to return to that routine grind is a nightmare, which is why people get angry. All this because the in-game economy is so unrewarding and everything costs so damn much. Oh, and the other day I was talking with Turgeon Starstone. He mentioned a wonderful little quote from some dev. I forgot which one, but someone during one of the official streams said, "We don't want to waste your time." Interesting, isn't it? Sure, the context was about engineering, as far as I recall, but, well. Oh, and here's another little interesting fact about the most recent gold rush. See, usually you see a massive player influx when the game launches some kind of a new patch or some kind of event is happening. Now, what was interesting for me to see was Steam player numbers. So on Tuesday, 27th February, beyond launches and the peak time player count is about 11.5 thousand, which is about, give or take 2,000 more than usual. And in the following days, the number is about the same, only slightly dwindling here and there. Then the weekend hits, the day when the news of the new gold rush appear, and peak time during the weekend was 14.5 thousand. That's 20% more increase from the launch. And yes, you can attribute this to people just picking up Beyond on the weekend rather than work days. And that would be just fair, except I looked up Beyond beta release days, and sure, they are not the same, but you can still see a couple of interesting things from it. And similar things happen with every other update, so it doesn't particularly matter which one you look up. So the most attended days, of course, are the launch day and the weekends. Weekends tend to pull in more people, but compared to this weekend of skimmer gold rushing, there was even bigger increase. Of course, I can only speculate now, but developers themselves have actual numbers about this particular weekend and how many players exactly were in the system of the recent gold rush. At least to me, the message is clear. Huge chunk of people, nay, I dare to even say more people were interested in earning easy money than the new game features or the update itself. And if this is not a sad state for a game, then I don't know what is. And again, I remind you, this is not the first time all this has happened. The gold rush, the overnerf, the backlash. So to you, my fellow players, I say argue, disagree, and even shout and beat the dead horse. But know where the line is and dare not to cross it. We all want a better game with better rewards. And as for you, my dear game makers, listen up to what I've said. And no, you know what? No, you don't even need to listen to me. Numbers alone will tell you the same thing I've said. Okay, so here's an addendum. It's 2 days after they removed skimmer missions, and they are already forced to remove another mission. So long story short, there was a mission, a mining rush, that required you to source certain amount of commodity X. And in reward, it gave you this same commodity X, but more, plus money. Now tell me this is not stupid. I just can't believe. What the fuck? But what of the people, the greedy little buggers who run around sound... Fuck it. Let's go. Definitely planned. Seriously? That rock. That fucking rock. Whoops. Okay, there goes my pro moves, eh? Come on. I know I can do it. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yes. Okay. Okay, that works. Okay, good. Moving on. Ah, fuck me. Okay, moving on. Shit. I have the itch. Oh, but I can't stop filming. Come on. I have the itch. Oh, I need to scratch something. Come on. Come on, quicker. Just end. Ah! Ah! This is torture! Oh man, I just sometimes forget that randomly generated things can be so fucking beautiful sometimes. Fucking hell. If you have the chance, come visit this planet. Seriously.